Hello everyone, welcome back to Hoai Circus Story. I'm truly happy to continue this journey together with all of you. Each chapter is a new step, where lythieuca and her loved ones move through challenges, joys and sorrows. I hope that as you follow along, you'll feel the warmth, the trust, and the simple moments of peace that lythieuca is slowly finding again for herself. After so many upheavals, it seemed that lythieuca had finally found the familiar breath of a peaceful life again. Last night, when she and Hung returned to their little house, the moment her foot touched the old brick porch, her heart trembled with a strange surge of emotion. Time might sweep away countless changes, yet this place remained a safe harbor of memories, of the simple happiness she once had. The small house, the rustling river breeze, and the earthy scent of the garden after rain made her feel alive once more. She knew the road ahead would still be full of hardships, but as long as each evening ended with her sitting beside Hung and Tony listening to her child's bright laughter, watching Hung mend the gourd trellis, her heart overflowed with peace. This morning, without the company of Ha or his mother as before, lythieuca carried a heavy basket into the garden to harvest custard apples. The trees were laden this year, their pale green skins splitting open with sweet fragrance filling the air. As she picked fruit, she thought about selling them at the market the next day to earn a little money for Tony, and the thought brought a soft smile to her lips. Sweat ran down her brow, her sun-darkened hands moved swiftly, yet inside she felt light because now she was no longer struggling alone. Her mind wandered back to the days when she had taken refuge in his family home. She recalled Tony chattering happily while playing in the yard with Ha, and his mother splitting firewood with her rough hands, her gaze always filled with warmth. Without them, perhaps she would never have found the strength to stand again. Gratitude swelled in her heart, and she silently promised to bring Tony to visit often, to keep that bond alive. Her memories drifted to the night before, when she and Hung returned to their little house. Everything was achingly familiar. Hung quietly lit the fire and cooked her a simple meal: vegetable soup, a bowl of pickled eggplants, and some dried fish grilled golden. Sitting beside him, lythieuca felt tears well up. She didn't need fine delicacies. Just moments of peace like this were happiness enough. After dinner, they sat together on the porch, listening to the chorus of insects in the night. It had been a long time since they had talked so freely about their first meeting, about the hardships and losses they had endured. Hung admitted that many times he had felt powerless, on the brink of giving up, but whenever he thought of lythieuca and Tony, strength returned to him. Lythieuca held his hand tightly and whispered, "All I wish is that no matter what happens in the future, we will always stay together." Never let go. That promise, spoken in the quiet night, was like a gentle melody that lit up their hearts after so many dark days. In that moment, lythieuca realized that happiness is not always something grand. Sometimes, it is simply having a home to return to, someone to love, and work to keep you going. That alone is an immeasurable gift. At the market, the custard apples had barely been laid out when curious buyers gathered around. The mountain fruit was large, thick-fleshed, and sweetly fragrant, drawing sighs of admiration from everyone. A few old acquaintances looked closer, then gasped in recognition. "Is that lythieuca? We haven't seen you in so long." One neighboring vendor exclaimed, her heart tightened. She lowered her gaze, trying to keep her voice steady. "Yes, it's me. I've just been busy for a while, so I couldn't come to the market." The short reply was enough to steer away from further questions. Inside, though, a ripple of fear stirred, fear that word of her being alive might reach the wrong ears. But when she noticed that everyone was simply cheerful, eager to buy her fruit without prying, her heart eased a little. As she busied herself selling, a small boy from her old neighborhood ran up, chattering excitedly, "Auntie, how's Tony these days? When will you let him come play with us again?" The innocent question made Hoai pause. She smiled gently, stroking the boy's hair. "Tony's doing well, and he's studying hard. I'll let him come play with you all soon, I promise." She said it lightly, but inside her thoughts tangled. Joy at seeing familiar faces mixed with quiet unease. She knew the path ahead was still fraught with trials, yet in this moment amid the bustle of the market, with her basket of custard apples sold out, with laughter and kind voices all around, she felt as though she had truly returned to the ordinary life she had longed for. Noon had already settled in when Hoai returned home with an empty basket on her back, her heart light with joy after selling all the custard apples that morning. Without pausing for rest, she hurried out to the garden to gather a bundle of fresh, green sweet potato leaves. Lately, she had been away from home often, leaving the vegetable patch sparse. Only a few days ago, Ha had helped her restore it, and she planned to visit the market tomorrow to buy more seedlings, so that meals would feel more plentiful. While she was bent over rinsing the greens, a familiar figure appeared at the gate. It was Hung. He stepped inside, his face still carrying traces of weariness after a morning spent running everywhere in search of work. Yet the moment he saw Hoai, his smile returned, as if the fatigue had melted away. "I've been out looking for work all morning," he said, "but I stopped by to see if you were home. I'll head back to my friend's place now to pack my things, and then I'll come back to fetch Tony for lunch. I've missed that boy so much." Hearing his words, Hoai nodded softly, a quiet joy rising within her. It had been such a long time since she last cooked in this kitchen, the one she and Hung had built together with their own hands. Small and modest, yet every brick and beam held memories of those first days when they had scraped and saved to make a home. That day's meal was simple but warm, a plate of sweet potato leaves still carrying the scent of earth, a fragrant stir-fry of meat and mushrooms, and a bowl of freshly boiled eggs gathered from the coop. As the steam from the rice curled into the air and filled the little kitchen, Hoai felt her heart grow light, overcome by a happiness so simple yet so precious. She thought to herself, the road ahead may still be riddled with hardship. Hung was still searching for work, and the debts remained unpaid, but moments like this, gathered together around a humble meal, were the truest treasures of all. Outside the door, the sound of a motorbike broke the quiet. Hung had returned with Tony, and strapped to the back was a suitcase, a sign that from now on, they would truly begin their life together again. As soon as Tony hopped off the bike, he darted into the house, wrapping his arms around his mother and chattering excitedly about school. The little home, once silent, now brimmed with laughter. The three of them gathered around a simple meal, but to them, it was the happiest meal they had shared in a long time, after so many days of separation and storms. While eating, Hoai animatedly recounted her morning at the market, how she had met familiar customers and sold the fruit, all with the eagerness of someone wanting to share every small joy. From time to time, her voice faltered, and she grew quiet, her eyes distant. "I still miss Mother and her. After so many meals together, I know they must be lonely now." Hung reached across, gently holding her hand, his voice soft yet steady. "Don't worry. We'll visit them often, and when harvest comes, we'll invite her to help. Once this home is settled, I'll bring them here for a meal, to show our gratitude. And I'm also looking into jobs to introduce to her, so life will be easier for them too." Hearing this, Hoai's eyes glistened. She knew Hung wasn't only thinking of her and their small family, but also of those who had once helped them through hardship. After the meal, the two sat together on the porch. A cool breeze drifted in from the fields, carrying with it the familiar scent of earth. They spoke of the future, of finding a new plot of land, safer and higher than before, of building a sturdy home where storms would no longer bring fear. Their eyes met, and without needing many words, trust and determination shone clearly between them. In her heart, Hoai whispered to herself, the storms had passed. From now on, all she wanted was to nurture a peaceful home with Hung and Tony, simple, but overflowing with happiness. A new morning began at dawn. Hoai was already busy with her familiar routine, slicing banana stems to mix with corn for the chickens, picking a handful of fresh greens for the rabbits, then crouching down in the coop to gather warm, freshly laid eggs. The clucking of hens echoed across the yard, blending with the chirping of birds, weaving together a picture of rustic peace. Hung had just returned after dropping Tony off at school. On the way back, he stopped by a familiar stall and bought a steaming packet of rice rolls for breakfast. As soon as he stepped into the yard, the fragrant aroma of rolls and grilled pork spread through the air, making Hoai laugh. Perfect timing. I hadn't even started cooking, and you already brought breakfast home. While she finished washing the eggs, Hung set the food out on the mat. They sat down together, steam curling up from the soft white rolls, dipping them into a bowl of warm, savory fish sauce. A simple meal, yet so unexpectedly delicious. As they ate, Hung shared what he had heard that morning. The teacher told me that starting next week, summer classes will end and Tony will begin regular school. Because of our difficult situation, the tuition will be fully waived. We only need to cover his meals. Hoai's face lit up, her smile radiant. That's wonderful. At least it eases some of our burden. After a few more bites, Hung teased with a playful grin. With rolls and pork this good, you must have the strength to climb a dozen coconut trees today. Hoai shot him a mock glare, laughing out loud. You do the climbing, I'll stay below to catch them. Their laughter rang through the little kitchen, filling every corner of the home. That breakfast didn't just fill their stomachs, it gave them joy, and renewed faith to keep walking side by side on the winding road of life. That morning in the coconut grove by the river, the narrow path was only wide enough for walking, no way for a motorbike to get through. Hoai walked beside Hung, behind his shoulders hung two sturdy bamboo baskets and a carrying pole. Without a back basket, but thanks to the large baskets, they could carry much more, saving many trips. Along the way, sunlight filtered through the swaying coconut leaves, casting long shadows of the two on the dirt path. A man and a woman, walking side by side, step by step in harmony, a scene so simple, yet so peaceful. Hoai stole a glance at the man beside her, her heart quietly warming. No matter how heavy the work, with him there, it all felt lighter. At the grove, the owner had already leaned a bamboo ladder against a tree. Looking up, clusters of coconuts glistened under the morning sun, round and heavy. Hung climbed quickly, his steps deft and practiced. With a few precise swings of the knife, several coconuts tumbled down, rolling across the grass. He split one open, pouring the juice into its shell for Hoai. The water was cold and sweet, soaking into every fiber of her being, making her close her eyes in delight. The white coconut flesh was crisp and rich, and Hung chuckled. This coconut would be perfect for braised pork. Hoai laughed, nodding in agreement. She knew that with him beside her, everything seemed easier. Each coconut weighed a full kilo, which she could never have managed alone, but now, seeing Hung stride steadily with the pole across his shoulders, the baskets full, she felt an unfamiliar sense of peace. Walking alongside him, she fanned him with a small handmade palm fan, trying to ease the blazing heat soaking his shirt. They laughed as they went, sweat dripping yet hearts light. Perhaps the simplest joy of all is just this, working together, sharing the sun and the wind, turning weariness into happiness. The marketplace was bustling today, filled with people coming and going. Every household brought something to sell, the cries of vendors blending with laughter and chatter, creating an atmosphere full of life. Just as they arrived, Hung and Hoai were caught in a sudden downpour. They hurried into a small roadside stall, ordered to steaming cups of tea both to escape the rain and to ease their weariness after carrying coconuts. Watching the crowd rush for shelter, the two couldn't help but smile, feeling a rare moment of peace. That same morning, Ha and his mother also came to the market together, something they hadn't done in a long time. Passing a clothing store, she paused, wishing she could buy her son a new outfit, since his clothes were worn thin. But Ha gently brushed it aside. "I only need work clothes, mother. No need for anything fancy besides. I still have plenty to wear. Let's go to the knife store. I need a sharp one for clearing brush." They bought a few kitchen items before strolling slowly onward. By now the rain had cleared, and Hoai and Hung had sold every last coconut. The fruit was sweet and refreshing, and with Hung eagerly chopping samples for customers, they sold out in no time. Relieved and delighted, they carried their empty baskets back. Passing the fruit stalls, they unexpectedly ran into Ha and his mother. The older woman's eyes lit up at the sight of Hoai, surprised, overjoyed, as though meeting a long-lost daughter. She gripped Hoai's hand tightly, her voice trembling. "I've missed you so much. The house feels empty without you these days." Tears welled in Hoai's eyes as she bowed and clasped the woman's weathered hand. "I've missed you and Ha too." Seeing this, Hung smiled and suggested warmly, "Why don't you both come over to Hoai's house today? It's nearby, and it would be nice for us to sit and talk." Ha nodded in agreement, his face lighting up with joy. On the way back, the two men walked ahead, discussing work, while behind them Hoai and his mother chatted away like reunited family. The woman confided that ever since Hoai had left, the house had felt so quiet, meals no longer filled with laughter. Today, with the rain keeping them from the fields, she and Ha had decided to come to the market to buy the brush-cutting knife and also a new pot, since the old one had rusted through. Listening, Hoai's eyes misted. Warmth spread through her heart, a gratitude she could hardly put into words. Though she had now returned to her own home, deep inside she knew Ha and his mother would always be family to her, a bond she would never forget. Back at the house, Hoai invited everyone to sit in the hut to rest, then hurried off to fetch some water. The moment she saw Hung, his mother asked straight away, "You don't have to work today, son." Hung paused for a moment before deciding not to hide the truth. He explained that he had recently received a decision transferring him to a post 130 kilometers away. With so many family responsibilities still weighing heavily on him, he had requested a temporary leave from his unit. He would take care of his personal matters first, then consider returning to work later. The old woman nodded, her voice tinged with both concern and affection. "Well, if it's that far, I wouldn't feel at ease for Hoai and her little one either. Since you've left your job, find something nearby. That way you can both earn a living and look after them." Hung sighed. "Yes, ma'am. These past few days I've been looking for work and also asking around for Ha, but my friend at the company said they're overstaffed already, even cutting back because business is slow and products aren't selling. I'll keep searching elsewhere and let you and Ha know as soon as I find anything. For now, until something comes up, it would be best if Ha goes harvesting with Hoai. The two of them are familiar with the work together. They'll be more productive, and every little bit earned counts." His mother turned toward Hoai, then nodded. "Then I'll leave him in your care, dear." Smiling warmly, Hoai replied, "Please don't say that, Auntie. Having Ha helping me is already such a blessing. Honestly, I should be the one thanking you both. These past days I've been so busy that I haven't been able to visit or even call. I was worried you'd think I'd forgotten you once I moved home. Meeting you again today makes me so happy." Touched, Hoai glanced at Hung before saying, "Thank you, Hung, and you too, lythieuca, for giving me this chance to work." Lythica laughed softly, her eyes glistening. "Come on, Auntie, and you are like my family now, like a mother and elder brother to me. There's no need to feel shy." The small hut filled with an air of warmth and kinship, simple yet deeply comforting. Hung looked around, then smiled and suggested, "Why don't you stay for lunch? I'll run out to take care of some errands and stop by the market for groceries. It's been so long since we all sat down together. Lythica has been talking about you a lot these past days." But Hoai's mother shook her head gently, smiling, as she politely declined. "She already invited us earlier on the way home. But today I have an appointment with someone coming to pick up some herbal medicine, so perhaps another time. There will always be chances to share a meal, don't worry. For now, we'll just chat with her a while longer before heading back." Her voice was tender yet resolute, leaving behind a faint trace of wistfulness in the air. Hung nodded, offered a few more words of care, then excused himself. Inside the hut, Hoai and his mother lingered with Lythica, their conversation carrying on as though trying to hold on to that warmth for just a little longer before parting. Hoai's mother looked at Lythica and gently asked, "So, Hung has moved back here to live with you and your child now, hasn't he?" Lythica nodded softly, her voice calm yet filled with quiet conviction. "Yes, Auntie. We've loved each other for a long time, and now we're thinking of something lasting." Before, his mother tried to stop us, but now she's no longer living at home, and since Hung has no other place to return to, he's moved in with me and my little one. Hearing this, the old woman's eyes seemed to ease from worrying. She nodded slowly. "Then I can be at peace. I was always anxious thinking of you two living here alone. There are too many bad people in this world. If Hung can settle his work, that's good, but if there's any trouble, don't hesitate, just come stay at my house for a while longer. Don't feel shy about it." She paused, then added in a voice full of care, "And if you're ever too busy, tell Hung to call me. I'll send her over to help. And when you have some free time, come with me into the forest. I'll teach you a few more herbal remedies. I'm getting old now, and walking in the forest is tiring. It's time to pass the knowledge down to the younger ones. When poor folks come, we help them for free, to build blessings. For those who can afford it, we ask just a small fee. It's a trade to keep one's family fed." Hearing this, Lythica's heart swelled with joy. She clasped the old woman's hand, her eyes glistening. "I can't read or write. I have no real trade. For you to teach me so patiently, I'm deeply grateful. Having another skill will give me more confidence to take care of my child." The little hut seemed to glow warmer with every word. It wasn't just kinship anymore, it was trust, and the promise of a shared future. By late afternoon, Hoai and his mother rose to leave. Lythica hurried to see them off at the gate, pressing a few fresh eggs into the old woman's hands. "Please take these, Auntie, and you too, brother. Just a small token from me." The old woman waved her hands at first. "Oh no, keep them, child. Sell them for some money. You need it more." But she still accepted with a tender smile, her eyes brimming with affection. Hoai quietly shouldered the bundle, following behind, while his mother turned back one last time. Her voice was low but warm. "Take care of your health, and remember my words." As their figures slowly disappeared down the long village path, a wave of longing rose in Lythica's chest. She silently promised herself she would treasure the old woman's teachings, learn every herb and remedy, so that one day she could not only care for her family, but also help those in need around her. In that moment, Hoai realized she was no longer alone, for behind her were hearts full of love, always watching over and supporting her.
Một ngày yên ả khép lại, nhưng trong sâu thẳm ai cũng hiểu bình yên chỉ là khoảng lặng trước cơn giông. Liệu ngày mai Hoài ca sẽ tiếp tục được mỉm cười trong hạnh phúc, hay lại đối diện với những sóng gió mới? Hãy dõi theo hành trình ấy và gửi một lời chúc nhỏ cho mẹ con Hoài ca, để niềm tin và tình thương của các bạn trở thành động lực tiếp sức cho cô trong những ngày sắp tới.